Hello everyone, and welcome to Biopedia. Today's episode topic is a request with a broad general theme, walruses. So, without further ado, let's do some exploring. The walrus comprises one species, Odobanus rosmarus. However, they form part of the larger group of seals and sea lions, or the pinniped order. Walruses can grow to be up to 3.5 meters long and weigh up to 1,650 kilograms. Walrus teeth can be up to a meter in length and weigh 5 kilograms each. Both males and females have these tusks, although they are less curved, weigh more, and have a greater length in male walruses. The tusks are employed to pull the walrus out onto ice or land, as well as for interactions between walruses, and to ensure that holes are kept in ice so the animal can breathe while underwater. They are herd animals and are roughly found along the coasts around the Arctic, such as Alaska, Russia, and Norway. With that said, let's turn to look at the evolution of the walrus. Walruses as a family first evolved around 16 million years ago during the Miocene. Now, there is only one species alive today, as we said at the top of today's episode. However, there were once up to 21 different species in 18 genera. This included a species without tusks that lived during the Miocene. The closest relatives of walruses are sea lions, with seals being slightly more distant. Now, walrus males create distinct zones in the water which they occupy, with males displaying and fighting with each other. The walrus is polygynous, meaning that one male mates with multiple females. They sometimes give birth in the water, but mostly this process takes place on land. Walruses are hunted every now and then by polar bears, although this doesn't often happen, and they can live to be up to 40 years old. Walruses find food on the shallow seabed using their long whiskers. They mostly eat mussels and clams, but can branch out to fish and other pinnipeds. However, their blubber, skin, and tusks mean that they are hunted by Inuits as well as being hunted commercially. The debate about who can hunt and for what purposes is not one we're going to get into today. That said, walruses are facing a conservation challenge. For example, thousands of individuals were killed due to stampeding back in 2007. Why? Well, these stampedes happened because sea ice had vanished, meaning that they were all crowded in huge numbers and high densities on the shorelines. Again, as has happened several times before on this podcast, we can link our topic of the day back to climate change. Now, this crowding on the beaches came about because the walrus cannot just keep swimming forever, in contrast to seals. Normally, walruses pull themselves up onto the sea ice or stay on land for a few weeks. Because the sea ice was gone, however, the arrival onto land happened earlier, and they stuck around for longer. Accordingly, huge herds of up to 40,000 individuals were clustered along the shore at somewhere called Cape Schmidt. This is located on the Bering Strait in Russia. In such a situation, if something like a hunter, polar bear, or other disturbance appeared, the walruses stampeded, which the high densities here made a higher risk endeavour. Often it is the youngest or least strong individuals who are killed in these panics, hence the thousands of deaths mentioned earlier. In terms of the future of the walrus, Atlantic walruses are feeling the pinch less than their Pacific counterparts in terms of the impact of melting ice. They also fare better than other pinnipeds. The authors of a book chapter from 2021 concluded that the probability is high that walruses will survive into the future. However, this is contingent on some conditions. Firstly, humans shouldn't be too close by. Secondly, feeding grounds should be close enough to where the walruses drag themselves onto land. So, as we can see from the information in today's episode, walruses are a group which are faced with multiple pressures, but for which the picture is not a hopeless one. That brings us to the end of today's episode. As always, thank you all for listening. Feel free to get in touch at the show's email address for any questions, comments, or topic suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, have a great week, everyone.